Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are we all doing? Me looking ultra bright here with some massively white light. I'm going to have to sort that out, aren't I? So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I've been saying that this was on the cards for quite a while. We have with us today the writer and director of Predator: Dark Ages. Now, if you're not aware of this, where have you been? Been under a rock? What's going on? I joke, you're actually in for a really good treat. If you're not aware of this, you're in for a massive treat. So what we're going to be doing, sort of an interview plus watch along with the writer and director of Predator: Dark Ages, James Bushe. And here he is himself, the man himself.
Hello, hello.
How are we all? How are we all doing? How are you doing, James?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I've had lots of copyright issues today, which we'll probably talk about with your film as well, because I'm going to be intrigued by that. But yeah, no, I'm good. Loads of copyright problems going on because when you try and break stories, people don't really like that. So
yeah,
I've had some, but I'm good. I'm good outside of that. So Predator: Dark Ages. Let's talk about it. Conception, how it happened. A bit about you. Who are you, James?
Right. Okay. Well, I'm a filmmaker, predominantly doing short films. I've just done my first feature film a couple of years ago, and I'm on to my second one. Both low budget films, but mainly short films. And obviously, I'm a huge Predator fan. Like literally, I saw the first Predator film when I was probably 10, and it was one of those. It's a game changer for me. Like I love my 80s films. And I'd seen the typical PG films, but then Predator was one of those first films that my parents let me watch. My dad used to let me watch zombie films, but then this was a different one, and I was like, this is such like a manly, violent, crazy film. And it literally changed my mind of what films are, and from that point on, I want to start making violent movies. So
I watched that film. I need to make violent films.
It's literally to change. Like before that, I was like trying to recreate Indiana Jones with my friends. Then after that, it's like, we got to like tonks up and do action movies. But that was always been a big love of mine. And it's literally one of my favorite films. And it was literally probably about, it must be about 10 years ago now. I was with one of my friends in the pub. He's
okay. Nice.
We've been friends for like many years since we first met watching the original Tim Burton Batman film. And we was in a pub and we was just talking about, we got into Predator, and he was like, man, that's a film you should make one day. That's the kind of film you should do. And I was like, yeah. I was like, well, what would be the angle? And he was like, you should do like Roman times, because how good would that be? And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, but you know what? I love medieval films. That was So I was like, that would be my angle. So that was the seeds that was then sort of set into my head like all those years ago, and then that was it. And then it was literally like a jump forward 4 years or so, and I was just on Facebook and I saw a guy with the most amazing Predator cosplay outfit. It was like literally, it was the one from the first film. It was one that was in our film, and I saw that and I was like, I've never seen such an amazing costume.
Yeah, so there's some good ones out there, but finding a special one is few and far between.
Yeah, back like years ago. This is like the first one I ever really noticed.
Even rarer then.
Yeah, so I just dropped a message, said, your costume's great. Do you ever want to do like a trailer to a film? And he was like, yeah, I'd love to. His name is Philip Lane. And then that was it. That also then died off again for a few years. Yeah. And then I'd go around telling loads of people about my idea about, I want to make a Predator film, Middle Ages. Everyone would be like, yeah, great. And then I met the DOP of it, Simon Rowling, and we were just chatting in the pub, and I told him the idea, and he was like, let's make that. And that was it. And so the minute he said, let's make it, and he was a DOP, I got back onto the guy, the Philip Lane, and said, we're back on, do you want to make this film? And he went, yeah. And so, that was kind of, that was it. That was,
So how many years, I guess, from sort of conception to
I think
actually starting?
When it came to actually sitting there with Simon and him saying, yeah, let's make it, the first person that actually was like, could help me make it, it was probably about just about a year until maybe we shot it, possibly just over a year. Yeah, because literally we worked out just do a crowd fund, try and get it shooted ASAP and get going. What's quite funny is like the idea behind it was, several reasons. One, to make a Predator film and in the Middle Ages was something I'd love to play around with. 2, I was like, this could be like my most impressive short film up to this point, because mine have all been a bit low budget since then. I thought, it could be really good and a bit of a showcase for me.
Yeah.
And there's always that hidden thing of, and you never know if it goes viral like some of these films do. Fox might see it.
It did go viral though, didn't it?
Yeah,
but is it nearly 12 million views?
Now, but it was bad timing because up to that point, Predator franchise was dead. No one was interested in it. You heard nothing. I was like, they might look at it and go, these guys haven't done much, but who cares about the Predator? Maybe we'll give them a bit of money. Whilst we was running the crowdfunding campaign, I think they introduced Shane Black's film, and we was like, oh shit,
it's done.
It's like, of all people, they've got Shane Black on board after Iron Man 3, and so so that was that dream sort of burst and
just popped, exploded. Never to be seen again. So talk me through the budget of this one. And also, just as a heads up, guys watching this, we are going to be watching it along in a moment. We'll this is sort of the interview portion. We're going to get started. We will watch it. We'll take questions from you guys during that as well, and we'll just hold fire. This is interesting stuff first. This sets the stage. All right, this is the background. This is the good info. How much was it?
I think the film probably cost in total around about £13,000, maybe.
Oh wow! Okay, that's a lot cheaper than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I mean, so our original plan was
3 times that much.
Our original plan was we did Kickstarter. It's all or nothing, isn't it? So we was like,
it's really that's hard. Kickstarter's really hard.
We'll sit the low end, and the low end was like, we'll make 5,000. We'll just do a trailer to this amazing film because at least that could still be cool.
Yeah.
If we got like 10, 12,000, we'll do a cut back short film version. But if we go get 20, 25,000 pounds, we'll make the proper one. And I was confident. I was like, man, we're going to smash that 20. Really? I mean, we did a teaser trailer. We had some artwork, like tapestry artwork done. And we literally got 5,200. I was like, to Simon, was like, well, we're going to make the trailer. And he was like, everyone's expecting a short film now. And I was like, we're not going to make it for $5,000. It's just going to look so cheap. Yeah. And then luckily we had one of our backers. He come along and he was like, oh, so, how's it going? He was like, yeah, no, it's good. We're going to make it, we're just going to do a trailer in there. We didn't quite get enough. And he was like, well, what happened? And I was like, well, we really did 10. And he was like, well, I'll tell you what, I'll put in the extra 5 and you can make the short film, the basic one. And it went over by a couple of grand more, I think. $3,000 more.
As they always do, yeah.
Yeah, but it was a lot of in-kind favors as well. Like I said, there's a few things that come up that people mention. It's like, why didn't we have our own costume? It's like, well, the point is, if you want a Predator costume, that's like £10,000. So
easily.
I will go with the one that we had. Yeah. And people were like, why didn't you film in like Morocco or somewhere? It's like,
that's
love to.
Expensive.
So it's those things. But I think, we did amazing. We got a lot of people that jumped on board because they loved Predator. And so it's just pulling a lot of things. I mean, favors wise, it probably cost 3, 4, 5 times as much.
Yeah.
To make it happen. But yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Nice. And what has been the reaction since? And also, were you ever afraid of copyright issues? What was the deal with all of that? Were you ever contacted by Fox? Because I've had my dealings with Fox.
I bet that's fun.
So they've been very interesting to deal with because I had the original script for the Predator. Ooh. And so I was doing videos on it, and they kept contacting me going, hey, we'd really prefer you not to do this. And I'm like, I don't need to listen to you. I'm going to do it anyway. Because I didn't sign any NDAs. I just acquired something that was freely online. It was circulating. It wasn't freely online.
It's a grey area.
I was like, you probably lose. You can't. I was like, I'm gonna push my luck. They've been interested to deal with. But what was your your sort of experience there?
Well, to be fair, there was no contact from them at all.
Wow.
Like, what was quite funny when we was running it, the campaign is either when we was running it, because we was very scared running it, because that's when they can tell you,
Yeah.
stop, just stop
Yeah.
it. Like, it happened to a few people, stop doing it now, and you have to then cease.
Yeah.
But like, as we were saying, but once you finish the campaign, you can go off and make it. They're probably not that fast, who knows? But it was quite funny. I had a guy that was also making a Predator, I think it was an animation film or something. And
okay.
And we had this conversation about copyright, and he said he contacted Fox to try and get permission because somebody else had done it.
Don't ever contact them. If they don't contact you, don't contact them.
Well, no, I did. I sent them an email as well, then thinking it was a good idea.
No.
And then he contacted me back and went, "Oh my god!" They sent me an email back saying, "Can't make it anymore. I'm buggered." And I was like, "I've just sent them an email," but they never replied to me.
See, that's the thing. Like, if they don't know you exist, don't worry about it. Just slide under the radar.
That's it. If you can survive the campaign, you're okay. Like, if the campaign makes 200,000, then they might come after you because they want a piece of that money, don't they?
Yeah. Even though none of that's profit, because you'd be sinking it into a film, but they still want some.
Yeah, of course. So it was a case of
piece of the pie.
And even though we're on like I said, nearly 12 million, we've never been any contact. I mean, Disney's taken over now, so who knows?
So that's actually that is what I thought that you would sort of run into some problems actually, because of Disney taking over. I half expect, because they clamped down on loads of things, but then also Jim and John Thomas, there's now a lawsuit going ahead for the script Hunter or Hunters, I can't remember exactly.
That's right. That's it.
And then obviously they've got their new movie underway, which is interesting to say the least. I know you've got some thoughts on that. Set in the past, but you're set in the past.
I know. So there's another thing that's like.
Well, I'll tell you what is interesting about that one is that was in the works from what we know anyway, around the exact same time that the Predator was in the works. So they had both of these things in pre-production at the same time. So I do wonder if they had taken any inspiration from, you speculate, don't you? Did they take any inspiration?
Maybe that's why they didn't. Maybe that's why they didn't contact us, because they were like, "Oh, then we can make out we never knew anything about it."
Maybe that's it. You can't contact them. Go sort of balls to the wall.
But but maybe it's because it's like 5. Oh, I know. He's like 6 years old now, so maybe they're like, "Oh, it's so old."
Well, see, the thing is that you wouldn't be able to remove that from the internet now. Like it's there. It's in multiple locations all over the internet. Like, obviously on YouTube, nearly 12 million views. I mean, it is a very successful short film. But what's been the kickback from that? Did it help your career at all? What did it do for you personally?
It didn't do too much.
Well,
it helped me a little bit with my first feature film, although that was very low budget. So it got me some conversations, but didn't lead to too much.
That's a massive. That is a travesty right there.
Yeah, I did have somebody try and ask me, did I want to do like a really low budget medieval film based on that? But where they didn't want to spend any money, just do like a cheap film. It's like, no, it's not what I'm in it for.
Well, you can't really do medieval films for that low budget. Like they're really quite difficult to do. The costumes are really expensive. Yeah, just the costuming for those sorts of things, like we period pieces.
Very lucky with ours, because that was our whole thing. We planned to, it's a film with people in the forest, and that always can look a bit cheap and a bit like Friends or cosplays. So our plan was to try and put as much as what we can into the opening to make it feel a bit bigger, and then then hopefully you're sold and you're along for the ride, and then it doesn't matter so much. That was
that makes a lot of sense. So before we watch it, what was your sort of inspiration behind the script and sort of scripting it and I guess shooting it as well? I mean, obviously Predator is your inspiration, but was there anything else that you sort of drew from? Is there any sort of other elements?
It was, so basically it straight to point, it had much bigger ideas for a feature film, maybe one in the future. But this one was basically, it was just sort of like going to be a sort of a remake of the first Predator film, like not veer off too much. But the other inspiration was blatantly 13th Warrior and Ironclad. You know, those kind of bringing in those kind of elements, a bit more gritty, a bit of the church. And like the original opening, if we ever had more money, would have been set like in a prison where they've gone to get the side character to help them for freedom. But budget reasons, we had to just rein it right back in. So we just made him a scholar. It was easier.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it was basically like, I mean, I even took a couple of lines from 13th Warrior and a couple of lines from Ironclad as well in there because I'm not the best script writer, so.
Well, I think it worked out pretty well. I mean, 12 million, nearly 12 million views. People clearly like it, you know.
Yeah, no,
I think the like to dislike ratio is pretty good on that. To be fair, you know,
it's the kind of thing. Yeah, like I made it for me as a Predator fan, and like there's things which you could talk about later on in there that some people don't agree with and don't agree with, but it was all logic in my head because I don't quite. I think I just base it more. I'm a Predator fan of like the first two films, really.
Yep. Okay.
You know, like, and then it's, you know, things that people have added extra lore in and this and that and stuff. Like, I get a lot of people saying how, the Predators, they're very honourable and this and that, and I'm like, well, I see them as hunters, you know, and when we hunt lions, you want to challenge, but you want to make sure you're technically going to win, really. And that's sort of what, in my eyes, the Predators are like. They're invisible when they shoot you with lasers.
Well, I mean, they've clearly always got the upper. Yeah.
You know, so
they won't kill you if you've not got, if you're unarmed. Yeah, but I mean, they've still always got the bigger advantage. I mean, they've got high-tech weapons that could just blow you to kingdom come.
And it's like when people say, but they don't kill women, they don't kill children. I'm like, well, I mean, the Predator was about to zap a kid in Predator 2 until he saw he had a plastic gun, and you know, he was about to kill a woman cop until she was pregnant. You know, they find ways to make it not do what it's going to do, but they hint that it doesn't care necessarily. So I can see all that. I mean, I do think that there is an honor. There is a certain honor there, but whether it's an honor code or whether it's more, you're just not good sport at that point. It'd be like a human looking at a lion that's got 3 legs and one of them is snapped off as well and it's limping. You'd be like, well, it's not really any point. Like it's kind of maybe that's the sort of similar approach, I guess. Yeah, that's where I was sort of going with it a bit more like.
I can see that.
You know, in Predators, they dropped a woman on the planet to hunt. Well, I don't know why you've done that if you don't hunt women.
True. Yeah, you got a good point there. Yeah, true. Right. Well, I think without further ado, we'll sort of get started on watching it. We did have 2 super chats coming through whilst we were doing this. One was from Marshmallow, which I actually need to go to another page now to find because StreamYard is a bit of a pain in the arse for stuff like that. Marshmallow says, too many peeps to say hello to individually, so hail. So just saying, hello to everyone, basically. And then we had the Emperor of Mankind says, he's got his daughter watching tonight, and she's actually at uni doing film and ASSC things. All hail daughter of the Empire. This should embarrass her. So there we go. We've successfully embarrassed someone's daughter today. So that's always good. Like doing stuff like that. But anyway, guys, if you do have any questions during this stream, obviously super chats are the best way to do it because obviously this is a little bit different to my normal stream. So please do super chats if you want your question answered and directed either at James or myself. What I would say as well, James, if you want to just shout over the top, like pause, I'll pause it because I'm unfortunately I'm the only one that can control this pausing situation. Okay. Otherwise, I'd let you pause it, but I can't. So just shout like pause now, and I'll pause it because I want to hear your thoughts. I really at each step of the way I want to hear your thoughts, even if it's straight away like, well, this is why we did the opening like this. Okay.
And if there's anything you want to, you just stop it and ask me as well in case I
absolutely
just, get zoned into watching my own movie and I'm just like.
If you just glaze over, I'll be like, James, you're right. Come on. Gone catatonic. It's not good. Oh, dear. Right. So let me just get this set up. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, the disclaimer to make sure.
This was the Florida movie is in. So this isn't monetized at all, is it on YouTube? No, that's a shame.
What? No.
Are you sure?
I can't remember anymore now.
It should be.
But, yeah,
Well,
but it wasn't
yeah,
like it definitely.
it
Yeah,
wasn't.
when we released it, no, because otherwise we'd be
Right.
millionaires now. I think.
Well, honestly, YouTube doesn't pay that much, in fairness. So, but you'd be doing you would have made the money back for the film. I would imagine.
Right.
Anyway.
Okay.
So obviously, the following film was a non-profit fan film produced for entertainment purposes only. All characters and associated names, references, copyright and trademark of 20th Century Fox. We do not claim any ownership of it. Do you even have to say that about your own characters that you create? You have to say that they basically own them. Or
you
did
know
you
what?
just try and do it whatever?
I copy and paste it from a couple of other short films.
Okay. All right. Well, fine.
So yeah, I mean, I looked at a couple of the big fan films that had lots of views, and I was like, oh, I like what they said, and I like what they said. I just
makes
some of that because
I
don't know if they're going to sue me, they've got a way around it.
No, good, honestly, good way of doing it. Right. Straight away we stopped it. Let's get into it now. Let's go. Hopefully, let me know, everyone, if you can actually hear this as well, because I'll obviously try and sort that out if there's not enough volume there.
So yeah, that was just our opening to show like.
So how did you shoot that? How did you shoot that? What camera did you use?
We shot the main film on Ari Amira that had just come out.
So good camera then.
Yeah,
wow.
For the main film, and that was shot. I can't remember. That was a drone, and also when you got it on like the Ronin. So it was like
gimbal.
That's it. It was a smaller camera, like the DSLR cameras or something.
Yeah.
And we that was like a second unit.
How did you get the up close shot then? Doing that?
They were just literally in a car. I think it was just like
really
that, just right in front of him. Yeah,
that
we zoomed in a little bit.
But that's quite hard to coordinate, was it not? How many takes did that? How many takes was that?
We was off shooting other stuff and they did it.
You're like, just fix it, do whatever.
Yeah, no, we gave them like the storyboards and they went off and I think they spent about half a day shooting that stuff.
Oh wow! Oh okay.
Yeah, we did originally want to have another little shot where you saw an invisible predator at the end when he turned around, sort of stabbed the screen, but
yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I think it worked in general. Just to sum up, that if you notice, he's carrying an axe as well, because that's why he's still hunted.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I like that. Yeah. So he's still worth being hunted.
Yeah, he's still got a weapon. Otherwise, you might have to leave him alone. So he's carrying his axe.
Yeah. And so with respect to that, like where did you shoot that? Where was that shot exactly?
This is I can't remember the exact area now. It was literally near Hampshire. It was, and it was literally it was a relative of Simon's who actually had a bit of land, and they was like, we can just go and film everything there. So literally, that's what we did. They had a bit of forest. They had a bit of forest land. They had the fields. Wow. We put the tents up in the fields, did the whole shots in the field. Yeah, it was an amazing place where we had everything.
It's like a closed set then at that point, isn't it?
Yes,
you don't need to worry about anything. You just crack on. That's great.
Yeah.
That's really good. So we do have some contributions from the chat here. So Politically Incorrect, great name, says, how about making one based off the flintlock? So I guess this is another question, is it? Do you have any interest in returning to this in terms of filmmaking? And would you think you'd be able to now with Disney? And would this be something that would interest you?
Well, to be fair, with Disney, it's a bit scary. And like I said, it needs to have more money, I think, now to do things. You've got to be doing. You've got to do it better than this. And one of the things would be a costume. Now, a guy's actually working on an amazing short film, and it's called Predator Akuma, and it's set with samurais and ninja and the Predator.
Oh wow!
And he'd like me to get involved, direct it, and I'm like more than up for it if we can get the money for it. And he's literally getting a custom-made costume built.
Wow!
So so that's hopefully, it's all going to come down to, like you said, Disney going forward and stuff.
Yeah.
But I would, as long as it's not cheap and it's worthwhile and a bit of fun, because you could all the different centuries you could do in times. It is amazing. Like I hear all the suggestions and they're all amazing. You'd love to see all of them. Like I always thought this would be a great TV series where you could have gone through the different ages, like either it was
just
one
an
Predator
anthology series, like, you know, what they're doing through different time
would have been
periods
so
and
good.
stuff. Yeah, no, 100%, 100%.
But
Comrade Commissar Yuri says, "Hey H, James, awesome live stream. Is one of the actors from this also appearing in an Alien short relatively soon? Do you keep in touch with any of these actors?
I think Adrian Bushe is down to be in a Predator, an Aliens short film, but I don't know. But he was attached to that, I think, whilst we was doing this. So I'm not sure if that's still progressing.
That's quite a long time ago, then, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know anything about the short film, but I do think it may have been Adrian, because Adrian, who's our lead Templar, was also in Aliens versus Predator. He was like just one of the people that got killed in, you know, when upstairs and the Predators first appear, he got stabbed.
So the sort
wall.
of ice.
Yeah.
I'm famous for being stabbed.
Yeah.
Good times. Yeah. Oh dear. Right. Let's jump into this again then.
I guess we know Dark Ages is wrong, but Middle Ages just doesn't work as the title, so we just ignored it. So yeah, this is part CGI. I think.
Is it? Oh, so let me.
A few of the tents are real.
Over to the left, the smaller ones, are they CGI?
Yeah, I think basically, you see the big tent in the middle and to the right are real because the horses travel there. Okay. And then I think the guy literally sort of took them and duplicated and added some, to the left.
It's not bad CGI though, is it?
No, the guy who did our special effects, Steve Askey, has done some amazing work on here. Like amazing special effects.
See, that's it. Yeah, that's not bad at all, because you don't linger so long on this shot either, so you don't really know that it's there, because it's not that sort of uncanny valley moment.
Right,
that's good. I didn't know that. So
and we add some horses as well, and that's where your focus is.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh no, pretty horses. Actually, so you are completely right there, actually, on how that immediately distracts the eye.
Yeah.
Like, whether that was intentional or not, I don't know, but either or, it doesn't matter. That it works really well because they come into the opposing side of the shot, and you're like, oh, I want to look at them now.
That's it. We only had enough tents. We only had a few tents. So we was like, yeah, keep it there. They run there. We'll fill in the rest. No one's going to notice. Hopefully.
Oh, that's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. Great. So all of this stuff, how was this sort of made and put together, and how was this gathered up then?
Yeah, okay. So basically, this whole opening is amazing. Like, again, because there wasn't much money, I went and spoke to some reenactment groups, actually, and they loved, they're all medieval, but they all loved Predator. It was amazing. So we got a bunch of them to come down for the day. They bought the tents, they bought costumes and weapons, and they let us literally do this whole opening scene here. Just like for free, just because they wanted to be involved in a Predator film. So
some of these were the extras as well. Then these
are the guys.
Brilliant.
They loved it, and then obviously the bit of the smoke machine to try and add some mist in there to make it look.
But that worked. That does actually look pretty well. To be fair, in terms of smoke machines and trying to put artificial fog in can go real bad. Because there's no way to control it. Like, did you run tubes as well with holes in to sort of
this was literally
a big smoke machine?
No, the handgun ones, like literally we had two or three of them, and you just run around and.
That's even better. The fact that you managed to get this out of that is really good. So I was an extra in my friend's film. I don't know if you know Paul Gerard. So he's the guy who did the Hellraiser Origins short film.
Oh yes, yeah.
So he's made his own film now. He's moving off into doing his own stuff. And he asked, "Do you want to come up and sort of be around on set?" And then he wrote me into being an extra. But it was enlightening. Like it was interesting. It was fun. But my God, it was difficult. Like they had all of the smoke stuff, and they had tubes attached to it, trying to dissipate it all across this forest. But it just wasn't playing ball. So to see that you managed to get that's bloody good going, mate.
Yeah, I think it's pretty really inconsistent, but we got it up for this shot.
But well, look. Mist is inconsistent in the UK. It's fine. You just put it down to actual UK weather. It's all good. Sean Conwell drops in, and you're obviously getting lots of love here. So Sean Cornwell says, "Love this short film. What do you guys think about one with predators hunting dinosaurs, samurai, Vikings, or in World War One?
Yes.
Which of those sort of tickles your fancy the most?"
I think out of those, I think a samurai and World War One. Vikings is very close to medieval, so it's very similar. Dinosaurs, well, I don't know. Could be cool. I mean, it'd be cool, but they're dinosaurs, aren't they?
It would be cool, but there'd be no sort of intelligent sort of back and forth of them properly hunting them, I think. But samurai,
I think that would be good because you can play a lot more, like you said, on the honor. And,
and
the sword fighting. Like we tried a bit of it with this as well, and I thought the sword fighting in Predators was a little bit. I don't know. I thought the Predator was just a bit rubbish and just got done a bit too easy.
I agree with you there, and it was a bit too staged as well. I think. It seemed too staged. It was like, oh, we're gonna fight now. Oh yeah, we'll fight now. Like, cool.
Yeah, exactly.
This perfect clear forest, clearing, and we'll do it right here. Cool, we'll do it. Yeah,
but it was cool. I mean, so I think samurai definitely, and World War One, because I mean, you can play a lot of game with. Well, at least
the brutality. I think just the brutality of the trenches would be great in World War One.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. Right, cool. Let's drop back in here then.
Marshal Thomas, I am Brother Joseph. Thank you for
These are like my first time using Steadicam shots ever.
So was that actually
never used? Yeah. I've never got to use Steadicams, and then we shot all this stuff, and I was like a little, like a little kid in the candy shop, just thinking, in my head I've always that's how shots should be. Never got to do in my other films, and then here they are with the Steadicam. I'm like, this is so cool.
Did your lead actually ride in on the horse? Was it actually him that rode in on the horse, or was it someone else that was a stand-in?
Yeah.
Okay.
On those shots, it was the majority of them were riding. Sometimes we did have stand-ins. Here and there, but that shot when they were riding in was all of them.
Okay, so they can actually ride horses then, because I'd shit my pants doing that. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, there was I'll tell you about the funny incident where I had to edit where a few people fell off their horses, but I had to just cut around it. That was a scary moment, but you'll see it later on.
Right, okay.
Someone of such prestige,
Your Grace. My men-at-arms.
my son. This is no place for a woman.
Take comfort in the knowledge you're not the first to have made such a mistake.
There was a lot of talk about the woman angle. Like originally there wasn't any women in our short film, and then people were like, you should put one in, and it went backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
And in the end, we did.
So you originally didn't have one. Why didn't you have one?
Because it was just literally just a group of Templar Knights.
Right.
At the very, very, very beginning.
So, okay, yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
And then somebody was like, you should put a woman in. I thought, well, she couldn't be a Templar Knight, but I guess she could be a tracker.
What was their argument for putting a woman in?
I can't remember. Well, probably just, to be a bit more diverse, most likely. I can't remember now. It's so long ago. But you know what? There was a big change around, in all fairness. It was definitely a change around. Originally, the actress we had in it was a martial artist, and she was going to... And she was going to have a big fight scene with the Predator because she was really, really good. But then she got onto a bigger film just before we were shooting, so we then had to change some things around, and we had to do some juggling, and so Sabine come in last minute. She come in last minute, but the funny thing is she's brunette. She was brunette, but she dyed her hair for another film she was going on to, so. We had a slight Legolas kind of look, but
I'd say it's sort of like Viking shield maiden look. Actually, we'll lean with that angle rather than Legolas.
No, I see so many comments though about it. I thought she was awesome in that. I thought she was really good. She came in last minute as well and just smashed it.
It was I mean that's great, but it's also great that you were able to adjust and switch things up at last minute as well, because that's what a lot of people don't realize when you're making a film. There's so many variables that just chop and change, and if the director, who on these short films, generally speaking, the director is always the screenwriter as well. If that individual doesn't have the flexibility and the capability to adjust things on the fly, the whole thing's dead. Like it's gone.
Yeah.
The whole thing just falls apart. So
Especially time limit as well.
Yeah, no, you did really well there. You did really, really well. Paul Whitaker drops in and says, love the dialogue between brother Joseph, Thomas, an introduction to Saeed. What would you expand upon or change if you could do it again? That's an interesting. So that's like a self-examination, isn't it?
Well, to be fair, I think I would go back to our original where he was a prisoner. I thought that was quite a good angle. Like originally, this was them heading to a castle and a prison, and he's in a prison cell, and they're like saying, "Look, if you want your freedom, you help us." And he's like, piss off, I'm not helping you. So it's a bit more of that angle. I thought that would have been quite a nice opening, really, for him. I mean, it was still good here as well, but I think that would have been nice to shot that opening.
Yeah. Well, something like that could have been really good fun, couldn't it? And what was the deal with the sort of costuming here? And because chainmail is quite hard to get fitted. I mean, was this one which just somehow fitted, or did you get this specifically? Or
the costumes are quite fun as well. We only got our costumes the day before we was filming, the night before we was filming, and even though I had been like, oh, we mustn't have the knitted chainmail, like got to have real chainmail. Yeah, and then the costumes we got literally was the knitted chainmail, and they looked bad. And some of the crew and that were like, we'll just shoot anyway, and we tried spraying them a bit, and I was like, oh, this is, when you feel a bit like deflated, like
you got your hopes up, and they arrive, and you're like, nah, shit.
But then a couple of the actors were also like, look, these are a bit wank, really. But that was all I needed to hear. I was like, okay, let's stop. We're not going to. So this is actually our first day. We stopped film. We didn't even start shooting because I was like,
wow.
I was like, we got to sort out these costumes. And luckily, the one of the guys who supplied the costumes there, he wasn't there. He lived like, I think, 2 hours away or something. Or an hour and a half. We called him up and we was like, do you reckon you could help us? And he was like, drive down with your actors and we'll see what we can do. And I was like, please get them real chainmail and stuff. And then they come back. A couple of these costumes were the ones we had, but like the ones with the actual Templars and stuff and the chainmail, they come back with all of that.
Excellent.
I was like, okay.
How did you filth them up? Like, what is that's on the costume? Was it dirty down?
They just went into like near a mud pit and just.
Oh, they actually literally just dirt then. Okay, cool. Yeah. So not an artificial dirt then. That's
Oh no,
good.
no, real
nice,
stuff.
Nice.
Hands as well as any man.
I'm sure. Thomas, come walk with me. Please excuse us.
You hear that? He mistook you for a woman.
Was that inspired by Aliens?
Yes. It was. Yeah, you'll see. If you study the script, most of my lines are taken from movies or whatever.
I like that. That was good.
Yeah, I love my 80s films. But see, this is great. Like this shot here and just the tents and the people walking. It was. This is what I was saying about like trying to get a bit of production value in now, and then it's just a few people in the forest later on.
Well, it looks more lived in now. It looks like even even down to like the grass and stuff like that. I don't know how many takes it, or what the grass looked like before, but it looks like it's been stomped on quite a lot. Yeah. Like it looks like they've been padding around here for a while. Like it's a lived-in universe at that point, isn't it?
Yeah,
like it's nice.
Exactly.
It gives authenticity. It's tangible. You look at it, you go, okay, this is real. This is good. Yeah, like that.
Here you are to leave the Order after this mission.
Your Grace, my men have seen too much death. Some deserved, some not.
Many return from defending our faith only to find themselves questioning it.
Why are we here, priest?
The Archbishop believes we have someone who could be of use. You know what they said about this beast that you hunt.
We have heard the tales. Witchcraft, dragons. But I'm yet to know why the church has shown such an interest.
The local villagers have made a substantial donation to the Order in return for our help. So, naturally, God wills it.
I mean, I quite like this is one of the areas if I'd like to expand on the feature. You know, the whole thing when people say about demons and dragons, and you know, I think that's a great angle. I mean, we just a few lines here, but I think it's such a great concept.
Yeah. So how would you then, you know, if you could, what is it that you would expand upon there?
I'd probably do it like as if they would start thinking that they're hunting like a warlock. I mean, I've got plenty of ideas for the feature film. It's quite crazy, like leading up to the big finale, big war battle at the end. But I think like, you know, like as if that's because they wouldn't know what they're going up against. I think that's quite a nice angle.
Idea. Literally no concept at all, would they?
Yeah.
Okay. And so how was all of this shot just with a boom mic in terms of the recording? Was it just a boom mic above them all?
I think so, for this stuff on the walking,
Yeah.
We did have radio mics for certain stuff, but I think for this it was boom mic.
That's quite good. And how did you find your main cast here how did you find these two individuals specifically? What was the sort of search process and the casting process?
Well, I mean, again, it's a lot of like just people we knew or connections. Like that Adrian, he contacted us. He's the main Templar. He actually dropped us a message saying, "Oh, I've seen you're going to be doing like a Predator film. I'd love to do it." And he goes, "I do lots of medieval films." And he sent over some photos from his previous work. And literally, he's done like so many medieval films. I mean, he after this, he's gone on and was in like Last Kingdom and stuff. And
oh wow!
But he's a really big fella. Like he is muscly. He is like a proper action hero in real life. So it's like the perfect kind of Templar version, or like, you know, your Arnie character. It was brilliant when he come along and he had, you know, done so much stuff, and he looked the part, and he was like he'd be happy to be in it. We was like, great, you're our lead.
Hired.
Yeah, you know. And like Brian, that was the old man. That's somebody that Simon knew and said, would he come down for the day and help out? Yeah, so it's a lot of like, and some of the other actors like John Camplin and Ben Lloyd Holmes. I'd worked with both of them before, so it's like just asking people, you know, people that have possibly done some horse riding, a bit of fighting. Who looked good. So yeah, it was just sort of like pacing together people we knew.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, especially with these sort of lower budget films. It's, you know, if you've made some before and you get along well with an actor, you're like, no, I'll bring you back. Like, I know, you know, time limited, you know, I know you work well. I'll just have you back because it's easy and you're reliable in that sort of regard. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. To be fair, a hell of a lot of sense.
Yeah,
naturally.
This way. This is the reason the Archbishop sent you to our encampment. Thomas, this is
Said ibn al-Shams.
Was that seemed a bit, what was the cutting there? What was the reason behind the cutting there? Because it's quite harsh. Was it harsh to make him just interject really quick?
Yeah. Cut things with his name, really.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Because whenever, obviously, because it makes sense narratively, but I didn't know if there was another story behind it. Because whenever there's something like that, you go, "Oh, well, is there or not?" But
he was just sort of like cutting in. Yeah, at the moment, he's trying to like, you know, put his authority over as well, because he knows they're not going to like him and stuff. And so that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
A Saracen.
a Saracen who can help you to defeat this beast.
What help could a Saracen give me?
He can advise you where he can.
Advise? Why should I trust a man who sells his own country? This thing kills.
Hey?
Just wants to kill him.
Wait, the tension between the two are palpable, isn't it? Like, it's very much, who's this? That's good. I like that. Very, very good. And how was this someone that you just knew, or what's the deal?
Yeah, again, a friend of Simon's. Simon worked with him in a couple of films, and he was great. He come along and just smash it out the park. So their scenes together when they're just like arguing or bickering, I think it's really good. Yeah,
I like it. It's good.
both Christian and Muslim. It does not care for religion, even if we do.
Brother, he cannot be trusted. He is a savage. They all are.
I am not the one who murders with no remorse.
Compose yourself, Templar. Said has experienced this evil before.
So what what's the backstory in your head when you were writing this in terms of him experiencing this evil before? What is there a grander tale there? What?
Never bothered to think too much about it.
Oh right. Well, it was worth asking.
Yeah, it would definitely be something to like expand on if there was ever a reason. In the feature film, it'd be good to have flashbacks to it and stuff. But
yeah, no, that makes sense.
At the moment, it's just a mystery.
But some of those things are good, right? Like you drop in moments of a universe that you could expand upon, or you know, it's important to add stuff where people go, oh, okay, what's that then? It's world building, isn't it? Like
it's like again, like back to Predator. Although I can't remember the exact line now. It's you know the line when he's like, do you remember Beirut or something? And Arnie's like, I'm trying to forget. It's two little lines, but it sums up so much.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just great. Two lines, and you're like, oh, they must have had a real bad time.
Yeah. It's just world building, isn't it? It just it's that is how, you know, especially in that sort of exchange, that's how people talk. They acknowledge things that the audience just wouldn't know about.
Yeah, you've got to have a reason to explain too much. Otherwise, you're like, well, why are they...
exposition, isn't it? It's just
you know, the one that always makes me laugh is the one in The Rock. You know, when they're talking about getting out Sean Connery, or not, they don't want Sean Connery out, and the two guys are shouting at each other, going, "We can't let him out because he escaped blah blah." They go, "Yeah, but he also was CIA," and they're just shouting stuff that they should both know.
Yeah, well, it's stuff that they both do actually know, and it's like, so why are you shouting it? Like, just no, calm down. That is just for the viewer. Like, it's not for you guys in world.
Yeah.
Oh, it's brilliant.
I neither need nor want his help.
Enough, Thomas. I will hear no more. You may not want his help, but I say it is God's will. Said rides with you.
What are they thinking? Saracen.
Apparently he has experience of what we hunt.
Is that so?
It's a bad omen.
I can feel it.
Let's pick Joe Egan.
Hey,
that's Joe Egan, the boxer. He was like a sparring partner of Mike Tyson.
Oh wow! Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't know that. Jesus! Wow! Where are all their accents? I can't place them all because they're not talking enough for me to.
Well, he's Irish. Ben and John, the other guys, they're English. I think Sabine's actually, I think she's from New Zealand, but she's been in England a long time.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Good shot.
Yeah.
Good shot. How did you do this? So obviously all of that was just drone stuff, right?
Yeah. The first one was stock footage, and then the rest was when we was there in the field.
Was it?
Yeah, the very first one we just graded to match.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's blended quite nicely.
Yeah.
To be fair. Yeah.
And well, this is we got the because the stunt guys, they supplied the horses. So some of these shots they got on the costume. So like this is actually the stunt guy who's riding here. And at the same time he's riding, he's holding the Ronin, getting the shot.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust them with that equipment, to be fair.
Yeah, I know.
Bloody
it
hell.
was scary. It was scary, but
please take this. Please don't drop it. Just press that button. It's all good.
Yeah, it was scary moments, but yeah, got some great shots there.
Yeah, goddamn. Yeah, and so the stunt team just provided the horses then, yeah. So that
they did some of the. They were riding for some of the actors on these big wide shots.
Right.
And Sabine were very good riders, so they were on the horses for these shots, and the stunt people were the rest.
Right. Okay.
For these
and
wider shots.
And they were relatively the same build. It just all worked pretty
Yeah,
seamlessly.
yeah. It's quite far shot. You get away
Yeah.
with it. The hair was a bit
Okay.
different, but you're not going to notice.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So that's all them on the horses that time.
Yeah. see, there's Saeed like just clinging on there.
Yeah.
And so this is all in just the grounds that you were.
Yeah, I mean, look how
alone.
amazing it is in the background. It's very good.
Yeah. No, it's very, very good. I'm impressed. And so you don't know where was this again?
Hampshire somewhere. I can't remember
Hampshire
exactly now. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'm trying to Hampshire. That's
I had to ask Simon. He would know.
Yeah. No. I get. It's a long time ago now, isn't it? So
yeah,
makes sense.
So?
Several bodies were dragged through here, away from the path.
We go on foot from here. So we're like looking for a needle in a haystack.
This is to get rid of the horses.
Nice. See you later. We're done with you now. Go back to the steps. See you later.
We did have a big discussion about originally. Was we going to have a scene about the horses and then like something happening and the horses running away and stuff and that? And I was
okay. How would you coordinate something like that?
Yeah, I was like, let's just focus on. You've left them out in the forest and just move on.
Yeah, I mean, part of that in terms of the in terms of budget and things like that is always how do you do it in a way that will fit a budget, is appropriate, you can shoot it and it's going to land, or do you go an easier route narratively which still has the same kind of impact and the same point that you're looking to achieve, i.e. just get rid of the horses.
Some people may be fussed about what happened to the horses, but then most people probably are okay about it.
Yeah.
I only think they're still tied up by the trees.
Saracen, what do you know of this beast?
We call it Jinn.
Huh?
It means demon.
Have you actually encountered one?
Yes. In Jerusalem.
So? How do we kill it?
I do not know.
Well, how did you kill it?
We did not. After it satisfied its hunger for our people, it moved on. Killing it is your problem, Christian. I am just here to offer help.
Who said
This
to
is
bring
one
him
thing.
along?
It's one thing I wanted to play around with. This is like the Predator always seems to lose in films, and so I wanted to play around a bit more. That actually he wins most of the time, really.
But that's true. That's one of the things which has always annoyed me about the franchise, and what annoys me even more so about this new upcoming film, because one, that it's about a Comanche girl facing off against the Predator, and I'm like, well, she's definitely not going to die. 100% she's not going to die.
Yeah, if
and
she's the lead,
100% going to die, and I know the outcome of the whole film now, and that's kind of boring.
Unless they're going to shake it up, you never know. I mean,
it's Disney. It's under Disney.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Come on. I wish, but they're just not, are they? They're just not going to. I mean, they had
maybe not.
They had like an 18-foot bloody whatever it was Predator in the Predator, and even that one got mullered and mashed up by the end. By a 12-year-old boy with autism. And for goodness sake, come on. So no, you're
almost like you're right, but I mean, wouldn't it be quite good if they actually did spin it and
if they did
at the end, and you'd be like, oh,
kudos if they did, because they have to, because the Predator has the title of like the universe's greatest hunter, and it's like, well, why? At this point, why? It goes around, kills a few people, and then it always dies.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a snapshot into its life, but it hasn't really done a lot in terms of what we've seen.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of perspective as the Boba Fett, for instance, right? Like we see Boba Fett in the original Star Wars films, and all he does is set his jetpack off and fly into a bloody Sarlacc pit.
Yeah.
And people were like, he's the best bounty hunter of all. How is he? He killed himself.
Yeah, he looked good.
You know?
He looked good posing with the gun.
He looked
standing in the
cool.
background.
Yeah, I mean that was literally why people thought he was amazing, because he looked cool.
Yeah.
But in terms of what we'd actually seen, and it's similar to the Predator nowadays. Like he needs to kill. He needs to kill.
Yeah, I agree. I think let him have a couple of wins.
Yeah, but can you imagine that in the theatre? Right, like it would shock people. You know, like little Comanche girl, runs up with a spear, and then the Predator just comes out, wrist blades, and just guts her, and just walks off. Closed credits. You'd be like, yes.
You were like, they went there.
I'd be speechless. My popcorn would be flying everywhere. But it's like confetti. But it's amazing. The day's happened. So going back to what the dialogue, I like how you included the djinn in that.
Yeah.
So obviously that's actual mythology. Being worked in there. I like that. Did you take that from Wishmaster or not?
No. That was actually when I was chatting with Ahmed, the actor who played Saeed, and we was talking about. He said, it could be called like a djinn, and I was like, great, okay, yeah, that's makes perfect sense, and did a little research, and then we put it in. So yeah,
okay, yeah.
That's what he did. It's to tie it to like his mythology, compared to they're talking about their dragons and stuff. It's like a nice way to show everyone sees it differently.
Yeah, well, it's the sort of juxtaposition between the two. That works.
But not Wishmaster.
you need to. Have you watched Wishmaster?
Of course.
Good. I love Wishmaster. That's my guilty pleasure. That film.
It's a great movie.
So good. Right, back into it. Back into the fray.
Like I said, he's a bad omen.
We're not hunting a mere beast, you fools. This thing is more powerful than us all.
And you should have stayed in the tent with the priest. Leave the fighting to true knights.
You think I want to be here? It is not my choice.
Now you listen to me. Do not care what you want. You are with us now, and you will fight with us.
But I am just a scholar.
Not anymore.
Trail splits here. There are two sets of the same tracks. West and north.
All right. We spread out. Freya, Godfrey, take the trail toward the west. 20 leagues. We meet back here by nightfall.
That was a little error there in the script. When he says 20 leagues, it was meant to be 2 leagues, but I got it wrong. And and then I realized afterwards, and it was a case of, when it's bugging you in the edit, you're like, that is like not right. And I was like, but it's gonna be so hard to try and ADR a line.
Yeah,
I was like,
how would you have done that?
Yeah, so I was like, do I just live with that? It's slightly wrong. I know some people are gonna pick up on it, but
Well, that is again part of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like, it was after we'd shot it, and it was 2 days later on. I was like, oh, you know what, I got that wrong.
But that's it. Like when you've run out of time or things like that, and you don't have any, or what some people don't realize is, when a costume's ruined, you don't have the spare costume to redo it. You have to, time moves on and progresses. In, on a bigger budget film, you'd have them all, but you just don't. Someone's commented on the music. So you said your friend did all of this.
Warner Glazius. That's right. Yeah, did an amazing job. Like it was like he had some ideas, but I was like, we really just. It's a fan film, so if it's your own feature film, you'd probably you want to bring in your own music more and stuff, and maybe have some motives. But I was like, it's a fan film. People are really going to want to hear sort of the original score. I was like, but you got to just try and make it sound a bit more you know, medieval and stuff. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
tweaked a little bit. I think did a really good job, especially because his computer was struggling to replicate like some of the Predator instruments.
Oh, jeez.
You know, like,
Goddamn.
because I'd hear it and I'd be like, that sounds really like fake. And he was like, well, this is as good as my computer can do. And I was like, we've got to try again, add some more bangs or something. Let's try and work it. But he did such a good job. I thought the soundtrack was really good.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think
he did really well with it.
It is a great soundtrack. It blends nicely. Like, it's not too out there from Predator, but it's you know, it's sort of its own thing as well. Like, it's nice. It works very well, actually. Yeah, I agree with you there.
He goes with you.
Just rude.
Yeah, it's like, have him. I want him. And was this again just the smoke gun?
The smoke, yeah. Really, these shots here are
good.
really good. Really loved all these little moments now.
And was this gimbal, Steadicam? What was all of this?
Yeah,
shot
this
on?
is Steadicam now.
Okay, so I'm surprised you got on with the Steadicam. I could never. They're a pain in the ass to set up. They are.
Possibly, but the guy we got, Robert Beck, he was amazing. Like, he was so good. Like, he would nail the shots.
Yeah. Right.
We use a lot in this film, and he was literally just excelling it every time.
How much? So speaking of that, like in terms of someone, you know, doing really well with the shots and stuff, how much was left on the cutting room floor? Did you have a lot that you didn't use, or was a lot of
Not
it?
really. It was pretty much all.
used?
Yeah, we cut a lot of it out in the script stage. Like, lose that scene. Like, we was originally, of course, wanting to have the whole. We was going to have the team fighting some mercenaries at the beginning. You know, like the typical show you how tough they are. Show that they were
intro, like fun intro, like hook. You know, who are these people? That's the hook. I want to see these people again. That sort of thing.
But then we had to scrap it because But there's hardly any left on the cutting room floor. Like, maybe the odd line in between here and there, but in general, we used most of it.
No, that's good though. Well, that's good. That's you know, that's a comprehensive shoot then, really, isn't it? That's great. How much of this was Foley that you added?
A lot of we did the whole film. We gave it a real good sound mix. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of Foley's been added.
Yeah, because I've it's literally just occurred to me. I'm like, well, you know, there's some creaks and cracks there. I'm like, what? Yeah. How much of that was that natural there on the day versus?
There was some, but we added Foley to everything, like the chainmail rattling and like we went to town on it.
I see that's pretty good though, because I hadn't noticed the sound mix up until that point, which is the sign of a good sound mixer. You know, like it's blended quite well.
I think only at the very end, there's a couple of shots literally at the very end when the sound mix was a bit, the Foley is too loud. But
okay.
But we rendered the film out, and at that point it was done. It was like, okay.
Yeah.
But it's only towards the end. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Was this all natural light as well?
This possibly was, but the other shot, no, we had lights. That's why you had the nice light coming through the trees. Yeah, we got lights. We got lights out there to try and add, because that was it. We was trying to level it up from just us in a forest as much as we could. So we had the smoke. We tried to use lighting as much as we could.
Yeah.
We had a generator.
You've done well with that though, because it's the sign of either a good edit or well placed lights, because you wouldn't notice it. Like you notice that it looks good, you know, and you're looking at it, you're like, oh, the lighting's nice, but you're not like, oh, I'm looking at that light very specifically over there. So I wouldn't have known that was actually
Simon smashed out the park. He made it look so good.
Yeah.
These shots here, I literally had all these storyboarded. Like, literally, my storyboards are so close to what's in the film. It was so good. Like, you know, my storyboard, they're just like egg people. I'm like, oh, they're going to walk past. The camera's going slower, and then we're going to walk past. And when we film it, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's so good.
It's satisfying, like from
Yeah,
again.
honestly,
sort of,
it's all such a new buzz for me when we're making this. Stressful as well,
awesome.
but a good buzz.
Yeah. So we had another super chat contribution here. MJ1 Media says we need Predator period pieces. Feudal Japan next.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah,
Predator Akuma. That's the one the guy's working on. Well, hopefully
let's hope that happens. That'll be great if it does. Predator Akuma, you say, right?
It's a good name.
Yeah, it's a good name. Guys, if you do want to contribute and ask some questions to James here, the writer and director, because obviously a lot of people have kind of jumped on here whilst we've been streaming this now. This James Bushe is the writer and director of this incredibly well-known and very popular Predator fan film, and has kindly, popped on here to do a sort of watch-along discussion, interview, and things like that. So if you do have any questions for him, please do the super chats, and we'll sort of crack on with that. All right, guys, back into it. It almost looked like he was about to hit his head then.
Yeah, he did have to duck it. This is where this shot here is getting towards the end of the day, and like the light is leaving us, so we had to push the lights up a bit. That's why it's got a slightly different look now.
It's not that bad though. Like it's similar to like a waning light, just as it starts. Because it's quite strong just as it's about to die. It's that sort of what do they call it? Is it the golden hour? That's right.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah. Also, just had a new member join, Dutchy Baby. Great name. Great name. Very apt to be joining on this stream as well. Thank you so much. Brilliant.
Marshal!
That's the weapons for later on. Just I don't know if people noticed that in the film, but that's where he gets all the stuff from for the ending.
Oh, okay.
For people who have seen it will know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I like that. What was the sort of the FX work like for this? The blood that you made. How was that done?
Oh yeah, we made like these bodies for this, and it was just like syrup blood, the usual. And then we added some CGI on top of the bodies now, the skulls, to make them look a little bit more realistic.
Nice.
Yeah.
What in God's name? Is it a warning or something else?
How big are these?
They were pretty much life size.
Yeah.
Like my kind of size, like a 5'6" kind of person.
What was it made out of?
They were like sort of that tubes and foam, and then like I said, like the heads, we've CGI'd the heads to make them look a bit more skull-like. Because they were meant to be a lot more blurred in the shots, but then that's what we got. So we thought we'd do a little bit of a tweak.
Yeah. I don't think it looks bad though for what it is.
No, I think it was. That's why we didn't bother to show. Originally, we was going to have a shot of the bodies, in between this conversation, but we just left it at that.
Yeah, I think the thing is, like, with a fan film for a film that you've already seen, like you can fill in the blanks a little bit. You know what the fan interpretation is anyway.
Exactly.
Like, you know what these are. They're very clearly skinned bodies because you've seen it. So you can get away with some of those kind of things. I think that works. Really, really well.
And this is the Billy lines coming up now. The Billy tribute line.
Billy tribute. Love it. Absolutely.
Oh, sorry, Carl, not Billy. Carl. What's his? Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Act like this. I don't think it's this demon. 2, maybe 3 bandits at most. Probably heard the same stories as Saeed. Nothing like a bit of fear. Let us hope you're right.
Was this a different day?
To which shot?
This shot right now to the last shot.
No, it's same day. Same day.
Is it?
Yeah.
weirdly brighter just here.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's because we're catching the sun flare you see at the moment.
Right. Yeah,
it looks so nice. We was like, let's catch a bit of that.
No, it looks good, but I didn't know whether it was because
yeah, no,
obviously
it was actually the same day.
Raising the lights and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh well, you know, which part of it is this? But no, that's okay. I see. I like that. Some of it's gone now, but a nice natural lens flare where it makes sense. Not like a bloody J.J. Abrams film where it's just everywhere.
Overkill.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. I like that. That's nice. It's really. I like a lens flare when there's purpose to it. You know, just to sort of accent the sort of light on a shot. That's nice. Really, really nice.
Saeed, tell me more about this beast.
They say it has claws as long, sharp as swords.
Ha! Probably breathes fire too, right?
Worse. Much worse.
His face.
Do not listen to him. He's trying to scare you.
It's working.
Something's not right.
What is it?
It doesn't make sense. The trailer just drops here. No signs, nothing.
Witchcraft.
That's a good sound. That Foley was nice.
Yeah,
that was good.
Go big, right?
That was nicely done. Like it's like, okay. You build it up to a big bone. Ching. That was good. I like that. That was really good.
Love that shot.
The trees. It led us here.
Soundtrack again is good.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about this then. So how did you do the thermal shot? How was that done? And then how is this done here?
So yeah, the thermal shot is literally just a normal shot. We did it like just me, Simon, and Kieran, who was the camera assistant, on another day. So it's literally just he's just wearing a red jacket, and it's just special effects trying to get the thermal look. So it's not perfect, but it's literally just a post effect on a normal shot.
It's pretty good.
And this is
nicely.
And this is we got a good old. These are all static shots, but we had a bit of movement afterwards. But this is a good old person in a blue outfit behind them, and then we took the background plates as well. But I genuinely, when we first got these shots, they were like really, really good, well done. But they were too modern, and I was like, I want to have the ripples. I want it having as close to how it looked in Predator 1. You know, each film it's got better and better and better.
Yeah.
But in Predator 1, it's sort of more like sort of little lines going round, isn't it? Sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we literally based it off the Predator 1.
Yeah, no, I like
cloaking picture.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot.
Yeah, so it's just a guy in a blue outfit. Yeah, great.
It looks really good. It looks really, really good. Yeah, absolutely nailed that, to be fair.
That's the same. That was a wide. He's on a green box, so we can remove that afterwards. We did the plate, him on the box, no one there, and he just sort of pushed himself up. Take out the big guy first, right? Just like got
to pick him off. Yeah. Give some real sort of risk to the universe.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. So Colin McLean jumps in here and says, need a Predator meets Apocalypto film.
Yeah,
hunting the Mayans or the Aztecs. Regardless of the story, the most interesting thing about the first AVP I find is the Predators being responsible for the disappearance of the Mayan civilization. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that works. I think just remove the aliens part, because that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like, them bringing the aliens back to Earth from Aztecs, it's like, I mean, them being around in Aztec times makes perfect sense to me. I just did. It's the aliens angle that was a bit.
No, I agree, and I think
it's a great film.
Yeah, Yeah, but I think that's what they're trying to do with this new film. I think they're trying to do that sort of thing. The thing the positive I have about the new film is that Dan Trachtenberg is behind it. Like, I really like like a lot of people don't like 10 Cloverfield Lane's ending. Fine, whatever. The direction in that film, but up until that point, is remarkable. It's very, very good. Like John Goodman, terrifying, absolutely terrifying. Like that guy, Jesus. And Dan directed Mary Elizabeth Winstead very well in that film.
Yeah, no, really good film, and that's it. I'm excited about him, but you get so burned, don't you, with like
the franchise now?
Films. You just get like,
yeah.
But there's still hope.
Yeah, hope. Hopefully, there's hope. We'll see. We will see. And what was the effects work like on this? How was this done in terms of the blood and the?
Oh yes, the blood, that was CGI, and then we made 2 blades that we stuck onto his top for these shots here. We didn't quite get as much as we wanted. We run out of time again doing this, so we wanted the blades to proper go in and proper come out, but we just did like the blades there, and that was enough. And the whole thinking here is they're both kind of like, people say, why did you not shoot him with an arrow? Which is, makes sense in one sense. But what I was trying to aiming for was like, literally, you're just shocked by what, it's an invisible thing. His eyes glow red. You're frozen. And it's only when it sort of runs off does she sort of, snap out of it and bit him and then think, oh, he's running off. So I can actually, that was kind of the thinking behind it. Some people don't get it though.
No, I mean, I accept that as an explanation for it. I do, because like a lot of people will be instantly like, well, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do it?
Yeah.
Even modern day soldiers and Marines, they get shocked by stuff. They go into a state of well, it's not catatonic, but you know what I mean. Like even that happens now. So I can buy that as an explanation. I get the critique, but I buy the explanation as well. Like I completely buy it. A hoppy ending, massive contributor here on the channel, so thank you so much for dropping by, dude. Thank you so much. Says, good evening, gents. Thoroughly enjoyed this when I first seen it and have watched it several times since. So you're part of that 12 million. What you've achieved, impressed with what you achieved with the budget. Yeah, I mean,
great. Thanks a lot. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that again, do you want to reiterate the amount that you spent on this, just for everyone just to sort of know that's dropped in?
Yeah, so I'd say it was about 13K.
Yeah, so £13,000, like that.
Yeah, £13,000.
We're a lot of American viewers right now, but just
and a lot of favors, but the actual that's how much money we spent out.
Yeah, I mean that is literally nothing, ladies and gents. I can't stress that enough. That is absolutely nothing. And as Andy McCallum says, he says for 13K, the production value of this movie is remarkable. And it is. Like it absolutely is. So let's jump back into the fray with that being said. Was that the same shot you used? You duplicated the shot?
What, from the shot before? I think it was a long take, and I just cut in between.
Okay, all right, yeah, like that. Also, one thing I was going to point out just before we started talking about the other things as well, when they were doing the the sort of 360 shots, I like the music there, the beats that were coming on, very nice, very, again, Predator-esque, but sort of its own thing as well. You can tell what it was. I forgot to mention that because we sort of got talking about other.
And I think Juan probably he scored it to the edit. I think that was he scored it so the beats were on the cuts, which is nice.
Okay, that's good. That is really, really good.
I mean, sometimes on the edit, I did use the original Predator scores for certain action scenes as well to edit.
Yeah.
Just to help makes things
sense.
Out.
No, that makes sense.
It is retreating.
We must wait.
We must give chase.
No, it wants you to follow.
That was a great steady cam shot. Those parts.
Yeah, there's honestly from a technical perspective, like technical things of filmmaking, it blows me away nowadays. Like, it's so good, and this is why, like, I think what amuses me the most is when you're reviewing like a big budget film, and people are like, yeah, but didn't you see how good it looked? I'm like, yeah, it should have done for $200 million.
Yeah.
Like that's not, I'm not praising a film which has a budget that high for looking good. That's the basic requirement that film should have.
When they
That's
look
not
bad,
praise.
you're like, what are they doing? Like, what's going on here?
Exactly. You know, when a low budget film looks, you know, is on that level in terms of how it looks from the technical perspective, that's something you praise, not a high budget film, because that it should always look good. Like, you know, this being able to have those sort of steady cam shots and the technical aspect of it, that's more, you know, that's it would appear, again, like people are saying, and probably have said on, you know, on the actual video of this that's been online for so long, is that, you know, they would expect the budget to be so high, or much higher than it is, because you don't expect to see that level of, you know, technicalities on a film, you know, with such a small budget. You just don't.
It's all about trying to you're just trying to sort of trick it as much as you can, and make it look like it costs so much more money, and moving shots and nice bit of lighting and mist, all those things count.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely 100%. It grounds it a little bit more, and just, you know, takes it up that little bit more from just a fan film to something. It elevates it, is what I'm trying to say. Absolutely.
What happened?
The demon came for him. Freya has given chase.
Foolish woman!
And yet you're still here.
Did you take the clicking from the original film, or did you try and replicate that yourself?
No, we literally went onto YouTube and found some samples and took them.
No, that makes sense. I mean,
this is another part where, like, people often moan that, like, I killed the female character, and I'm like, why wouldn't I? This is a predator, and he's hunting these people, and she's got a weapon in the predator's mind. Why not?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Same as everyone else. Everyone else is going to die.
Yeah, I mean, she's turning to face him, right? Like, no, that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. Absolutely. It's weird that people would complain about that, to be fair. Donovan says, I like the mist covering her up story-wise to give the impression that she is all alone. That's one of the things I noticed, actually, when you're doing those shots as she was sort of coming in, was the sort of mist was sort of circulating there. It's good. It's nice.
It's got a bit more horror. Horror vibe to it. Yeah.
Look, well, it sort of brings it more almost like a swampy sort of location. You know, sort of ye old England, like it is.
Ye old England.
Oh, dear God.
He took her head. Why did he take her head?
Some kind of ungodly sacrifice.
No. To make trophies. It's prize for the kill.
Did you see it?
Not it. Just his eyes burning like flames.
He lies! That's not what he saw!
Why would I lie? Is this not what you hunt? Now you are scared.
I am afraid of no man.
This is no man we hunt. We are all going to die.
I'll hear no more of your poison!
That's enough! We are all scared. But we will prevail! deaths will not be in vain.
So how do we hunt what we cannot see?
I like how you shot this, like, because you can see just enough where you're like, oh yeah, I know what's happened here. You know, I know what's happened, and they've said what's happened. You know, their heads are gone. Yeah, you've sort of done just enough there.
We didn't have enough money to actually to show a chopped off head or anything at this point, so that's why it's like a slightly, you know, just on the edge of the shot.
So what was this then? Did you just like fill a costume with like fluff or like sort of bulk it out?
Yeah, exactly that. Just filled it out with clothes and stuff. And
yeah. No, that's good. I like that. Someone has just said, Van Wayward Official says, is this full short film or just one on YouTube? So this is a short film on YouTube already. It's been on YouTube for when was it originally released? 2015. Yeah, so it's been on YouTube for a fairly long time. But I mean, well, you know, there's never not the right time to come on and talk about, you know, films and have a look at it and see how things were broken down and things like that. So yeah, and again, this goes to show this is still being introduced to people. You know, the film endures with the fan base. You know, people are still coming around to it, which is quite nice, to be honest. I think
it's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm so happy every time. Like I put a post out, I think, on Facebook and stuff. Every time I hit like 1 million, like another million, because it's like I'm still chuffed people, you know, watching it and that, and it's great.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it is. Last time I checked, it is just under the 12 million mark. It's 11 million something, isn't it? Like, it's just mental, absolutely mental. But it's very deserved. I think personally.
Thank you.
May return for the other body to collect its prize.
Richard, Damien. Be watchful of each other. It's Mia.
So what was the thinking there then? Was there like some sort of unspoken rule? They were like, well, we know what to do now. So like,
yeah, it's just showing like they're like been through battles many times before. And I mean, there was a line cut out there as well where I think he did say, what did he say? I can't quite remember exactly. Yeah, he had one line there as well, but it wasn't needed. I think when we edited it, just the swords together. Well,
it's implied, isn't it? So obviously they're going off,
and they're going off, and they might not be coming back.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Again, it's that level of implied, sort of implied nature behind. People would just do those things, you know, if they've been working together for a long time.
I mean, it's one of those things. It wasn't in the script. It's what we just played around with it on the day, and it just worked really nicely.
Yeah, a lot of stuff is like that when you you know, when you do a lot of improv works really well. Or can work really well. Some of it falls over on its arse, but yeah, no, done really well with that. Really well.
You come with me. Follow the blood.
Be mindful. It may well be hoping we do this.
And let us not disappoint it.
Big step.
God! Get it off me! It's burning! Get it off, Damien! Do something!
So was that initial one? That was a bit of CG.
Yeah, CGI net. Yeah, and then there's a real net here. I mean, we put the sound effects on to emphasize it's meant to be like getting tighter. And starting to cut into his skin, and like, okay, could his sword cut it or not? I don't know. That's a grey area, but
well, you could say that the technology improves. They've obviously, you know, they bring out a net on one hunt back in the day, and they're like, oh well, we need to make this metal stronger because they've got swords. I think that makes sense.
He tried with his hands though and cut his fingers, so that just shows, you know, it was sharp.
Well, it's cut his face. You can see that. So we got comment here from John Stone says, if James had a huge budget and 90 minutes runtime, how would he expand on Predator Dark Ages? How did he come up with the idea for the short film, and did anything in particular inspire him? Huge fans. There you go. You got a fan here, dude.
Thank you very much. Well, basically, just the inspiration of the medieval stuff. I just love all those films. I love like Ironclad, I love Lord of the Rings, Excalibur, Braveheart. So it's just all of that. I just love that. And just merging it with Predator just makes sense. But yeah, with the, I mean, it was a great, we had some ideas for feature film that we never really, you know, went into too much detail. Basically, it would have been set in Jerusalem, though, 'cause it made more sense. You know, Predator is meant to hunt in hot countries. You know, I know that it's not going to happen in the UK, but originally that's where we'd set it. You know, you could film it in Morocco or Malta or somewhere, so you have that angle. And what I did actually have like a rough ending for the feature film where they would discover the Predator spaceship, and which is invisible, so they think it's like a warlock's castle or something. Like it's weird. They're like, oh, what's this ungodly thing around it? You know, it's keeping it invisible, but then they discovered it, whatever. And the end of the movie was going to be, well, the main characters were possibly inside the spaceship fighting this main predator. The outside, there was going to be like a 200 army of soldiers, of knights that come to where this place is meant to be, and had a scene where they're firing arrows, you know, to check distance. Probably flaming arrows, and nothing's happening, and then they hit the spaceship and it does a little ripple. So then they start launching all the arrows and they start firing catapults. So this spaceship is suddenly the force field is just getting hit, it's starting to appear, and then next thing, all the Predator laser guns start firing out, taking out all the arrows and the boulders.
That would have been cool. And
then suddenly the spaceship appears, and there's going to be like about 15 Predators on top of the spaceship, and they all decloak. And they steam the army, and there's gonna be like a big battle. I just thought, imagine a Predator charging into people, and they're just slashing through. I just thought it'd be really, you know, proper like a melee battle of 200 soldiers versus 20 Predators, and then they might have killed the main Predator, or the elder Predator will stop the battle. Like it's just gone out of control. We're meant to be here quietly. Stop everyone.
What happened to the stealth?
But I thought that could be so cool. You know, like with the catapults hitting it and it's rippling, and they're like, "Oh my god, what is this?"
Like, you know, predators as a sort of a species and a concept, for instance, like they are obviously, you know, adept hunters, but their weaponry could easily be used in a war format as well, like, with great ease. You know, if they were invaders, they'd destroy a planet in
exactly,
a planet like ours instantly. So.
And like a lot of people say, well, you know, how come if this is set in like the 1400s or whatever? And I'm like, well, they still had to get there on a spaceship.
Well, that's
their technology is still way ahead of ours. Like they still got lasers.
That's the thing that I have. That's the issue that I have with this bloody Comanche film, because I'm like, well, they've obviously arrived on the planet, so they're still technologically advanced. And I'm like, so where do you go? You're like, obviously, there's so many ways you can write it, but how are you going to write it in a compelling way that this technologically advanced predator isn't just ripping up these humans into pieces, and then manages to get beaten at the end? Because we know he's going to get beaten. You know, I just obviously there's ways of writing it, but never trust Hollywood because they're creatively bankrupt. So I, you know, as much as I'm looking forward to it, I still don't trust that they're going to be able to do it in a compelling way that makes sense. So
that's why I thought, like, if I ever did it, if it ever happened, it would have been because it's also medieval, and I'd love to film a war scene. So why not have a war scene against some predators?
I like that. I like that a lot. It's good. Such a good costume.
Yeah, it was really cool. Great.
How tall was this actor? Not the actor, the guy who built the suit. Like how tall was he?
Not massive. Like, I mean, in the suit, I mean, he was probably about 5'10" in real life, and maybe with the suit he'd become like 6'3" or 6'4", maybe. Oh, because the helmet's so big. Yes, he wasn't big. I mean, again, it's one of his complaints. It was like he should be a massive predator. It's like, yes, I know he should be 7'5" or something, but it's not happening.
on a budget, how are you going to do it? Like,
And also, you know, it's a costume built for conventions and stuff. So it was really put through the effort, put through the wars, filming this, trying to do fights, which has made it quite hard. So, you know, we had grand ideas and we had to then scale them right back because you couldn't see out the costume. And so, and quickly, a bit of knowledge here is the guy now in it, this is his Predator suit now in this scene, but the guy on the floor, that's Ben Lloyd Holmes, he actually plays the Predator in the final battle. Because he's roughly similar size to him, but Ben's had sword training and stunt training. So he was like, look, put me in the suit and I'll go for it. And he did,
and the owner of the suit allowed it. Though he's fine with that. No trepidation.
To start with, he wasn't happy about it. And he was like, he wants it, which is fair enough, you know. And like, I didn't want to upset. I didn't want to upset anyone on the shoot. I was like, look, it's a bit of fun. We should all just be happy. But after he did this scene, it's pretty. After this scene and the little fight that happens now, he came over and he was like, "Yeah, I think we'll let Ben do the fighting scene." But he was there to make sure, you know, he was there when we filmed to make sure we didn't damage it and anything. So
I mean, and understandably so, because goddamn,
big time, yeah, because that's what he. Yeah.
Did he tell you how long it took him to make that suit in the end? Or?
He bought that in sections from America.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That would have still been really expensive.
It was, yeah. I think it cost I'm sure it was like about £8,000 or something.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I know.
So expensive. So expensive. It's good though. Like This is a nice shot as well. I like this shot.
Yeah.
Obviously that's, you know, you put some lights there in the mist as well, haven't you? But
yeah.
It looks good, like silhouetted. Really, really nice.
And just quickly, the bit coming up with the arrow and the laser gun, that's in there because, the Predator, in my mind, he wouldn't use his laser gun, really. That's why he doesn't, except for that one part. And that's why I had him get shot with the arrow. To sort of you know, that's what made him shoot him, because he got shot by a projectile in the back. He was a little bit pissed and shot him for it. And that was it.
No, I like that. That is a good explanation. John Stone's dropped in again and says, also wanted to shout out James's other riveting short film, Blackout. Really unique creature design and atmosphere. Hope that gets a full length like Cannibal and Carpet Fitters. Also great recommend.
Thank you very much, John.
Recommend. So do you want to talk a little bit about Blackout? I'm not gonna lie, I'm not aware of that. So
Blackout was one of my first short films where I got to shoot on a DSLR. You know, and they got the access to lenses and depth of field. So it was like that was another one of my game changers from just filming with my mates on the weekend. It was low budget. It was like £4,000 or something, and it had a monster costume that I was in the costume because couldn't get anyone else to play it. But I have written it as a feature film as well, which I hope to one day do.
So what is it about? Just quickly,
it's basically as a blackout happens across the country or the world. And in the short film, some robbers are using that time to rob a place, and they get a security guard hostage. It's a horror comedy. But actually what's happening is it's sort of like is it an alien invasion or a demonic invasion? And there's these creatures that come out of the shadows. So they use the shadows to attack and disappear.
Right. I like that. So, that's cool.
So yeah, the robbers and the security guard have to try and survive till sunlight.
Nice. Like
it's good little fun. It's I enjoy it. And the feature film's great. The feature film's set in a police station.
Okay.
It's all some Precinct 13 throwback.
Yeah, I like that. It's cool. Cool. I'll have to check that one out then. Nice.
Did you forget about me?
CGI.
I was gonna say, like, it's not bad CGI though.
No.
Again, guys, just to reiterate, budget £13,000.
Yeah.
That's not bad CGI. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Yeah, because he obviously has that as part of the costume anyway, right? And then
but we took photographs of it and just completely added it in.
Yeah. It's bloody good. It's not bad. It's pretty decent.
No!
Gotta have that.
You've got to talk about that now, though. So how hard was that to sort of choreograph and do?
No, it wasn't what the actual spine pulling part, or I mean,
No, so the fight. So
oh well, yeah,
how
the
hard was
fight
it to
again.
do?
That was down to Ben and Rafe was the sword guy who came on board to help with some of the sword fighting. Obviously, with the gun and laser, that was all CGI, so that was quite nice and easy. The sword fight, it was quicker than what we planned. We had a bit more we hoped for, but we had to sort of trim it down, and that's why I stuck the infrared vision in between, just to sort of split it up, because it's actually meant to be a fight scene cut to them hearing it and then back to the fight scene, but because it was so shortened, I just thought we'll just stick a infrared shot in between.
Yeah, breaks it up a little bit.
But basically that was more a case of Ben had to sort of lead the fight because Philip couldn't actually see anything. And then a lot of CGI, CGI blood when he got splattered, CGI intestines falling.
So that was CGI. I thought that was going to be, that looked pretty realistic. To be fair, it did look like something had actually fallen there. That's not bad.
And the skull came along with Philip in his costume, so a bit of extra CGI blood with that as well.
Like that, nice, good.
Yeah.
Again, that is a bloody good job. That really is. That is a really good job. There.
Trying to fit in every little like cliche moment I would love to see from a Predator film.
Yeah, well, but that's sort of fan film. They're a labour of love, aren't they?
Exactly.
They are fan films. It's taking everything that you like and just doing it. So here's an interesting question, which is from John Ashton and myself, because I was going to ask this. From how long was the shoot on this? What was the length of time?
We shot, I think it was 8 days.
God, that's bloody good.
Two 4-day weekends, not including the like the infrared shots and stuff. We did that, like just me, Simon, and Kieran. But I think it was 8 days. 8 days, 8.5. It was I think it was 8 days, 4 days and 4 days.
That's really good.
The whole nighttime stuff we did over the last 2 nights was the nighttime stuff over the last 2 nights of the shoot. Yeah.
Oh, you've done well with that. That's great. That's really good.
It was originally scheduled for 6 days, and I was like, we can't do it in 6. Let's do it in 10, and everyone's like, you're not getting 10. We'll do 8. And I'm like, okay.
Jesus. Yes, I think 6 days would have been really tight.
Too much, because there's fighting and stuff. It's hard to.
You always factor in more time than you need, and then just drop the time that you don't. But never. You can't add time when you've not scheduled it.
Exactly.
Can't, like, it doesn't work. So you've done well with that. That's fantastic for 8 days.
Oh, pause it here quickly. Another little note for you. Actually, I don't think we filmed it in the end, but actually, for people who've seen it, the Predator has a sword. He actually took in the script. He took the guy's sword now from his body.
That makes sense.
I don't know if we shot it or not, but he took the sword from him, because originally before he was going to take one of his blades out and make a sword from that.
That would have been cool. How would you have done that though?
Well, that's when we realized it wasn't happening.
Again,
originally it's like he was going to take out one of his blades and that was going to be his sword, and then he just took a sword of him, because why not?
That's really, really good. I like that. Again, it's these little bits of information that you learn, like, we would have done this, but sadly we couldn't, because we realized we just couldn't do it. That's great. That's really, really good. Also, was that little stumble when he sort of tried to turn, was that just because he couldn't see? Because he sort of he was like, I'm gonna clunk over here.
It wasn't the best costume to have in a forest.
Well, I still think you did really well with it, to be fair.
Wait, do not go.
Get off me!
It's too late. We cannot help them.
It's good light in there.
Yeah. And we graded a bit as well. We graded the background there to make it match what the light was.
Nice. Yeah. I like well, the lens that you, I mean, I'm guessing you can't remember what lenses you were using here, right? But
No.
very nicely composed
Yeah.
shot, like really, really nice. The bokeh effect coming through.
Yeah, they were good. They were good lenses we got our hands on.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Evidently, you can see it. It's
Yeah.
really...
We wanted to go anamorphic originally, but we couldn't afford that.
If you can, great. If not,
Yeah.
Which not many people can because they're so bloody expensive. What was the resolution you were shooting in? What was it?
We shot in 2K.
Okay, yeah. Well, that makes sense for the time, doesn't it? Actually,
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. CyberGeek84 drops in and says, "This man is fooling me with digital effects so good. I thought they were practical when $1 million movies can't even get the CGI blood color right." There you go.
It's the case of trying to get it as good as you can, isn't it? Like that's it. If it takes you out of it, then it's dangerous. I mean, to be fair, we didn't know how these are all going to turn out, but in my head, they worked. There was logic to it, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you've done well with it. Like again, CyberGeek saying that you're fooling him, whereas Hollywood, you look patently obvious what it is. So yeah, you've done really well there. Oh, sorry, ladies and gents, bit of a buffer going on here for some weird reason.
I will not be taken so easily.
He does not give up.
I like that sort of the uplifting music coming through there as well. I'm trying to remember what that's reminiscent of. That's really nice as it starts to sort of uplift. Like you can. It's that rise for hope sort of moment. You're like, no, I'm not going to go down that hard. No. I like that. It's good. Yeah, the scorer did really well on this.
Yeah,
did really, really well.
We strike when it returns for the bodies.
It has taken what it wants. There is nothing we can do.
Can fight it! Kill it!
Please. You must leave while we still have our lives.
If we leave now, their deaths will be for nothing.
We could not defeat it in Jerusalem. It is no different now.
Yes, it is! We can fight it together.
No. I cannot die. Not like men.
You will stand fast!
If you must fight it, know this. It is not invincible. It bleeds.
Were you tempted to go, you can kill it?
Yeah, it was that line where it was bordering on, like, sort of I wanted to have it in, but at the same time, it's like, oh, it's so dangerous, isn't it? Like, it can't be so corny that you're like, oh, they went there.
I still think it works. It was good.
But no, this one I think worked enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I think pretty decent. Politically Incorrect drops in and says there was a guy who had an Ahab Predator suit made.
Yeah.
I believe you can find the video on YouTube. It would be great to see Ahab in a live action short film. Are you familiar with Ahab from the? So Dark Horse did the Prometheus Fire and Stone comic. It was like a big.
Okay.
Sort of like
I saw the covers that actually. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got it's quite a good. I don't hate it. I quite like them. I had the hardback. I purchased the hardback for it, and I thought it was pretty decent. The artwork's staggering, no matter what anyone thinks of the story itself, which is a little bit out there in moments, but the artwork's bloody great. Dark Horse, they nail the Alien and Predator stuff.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
I tell you, I'm just going to say, no one looks good running on film. Like that was not a good runaway.
So why we cut?
Again, no disrespect to the actor, but no one looks good running away on film.
He's running for a long time now as well.
Oh, really?
He's running like till night time and stuff. I mean,
oh yeah. Oh god, so funny.
Hey, come back! You Saracen.
Stock footage?
Yes, indeed.
But not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad use.
No,
It's good
it's all
use.
about grading it as well.
Yeah. Was this shot at 60 downgraded to 24?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. We
So
shot it
in
slow
camera, or did you do it
In
in
camera.
computer? Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the
Yeah.
best way of doing it, rather than
Yeah, I mean,
artificially, I think.
we couldn't do much because it was eating through the hard drive. So we got a few shots, and then camera guys like, you got to move on, guys.
Yeah, that makes sense. But that, again, it's just enough, like little sort of flavor of it here and there to accent a movie. It works really well. It's good. And especially like you've done it on a bit which works really well, like fire.
Yeah, that's it. It's the hype, isn't it? It's the sort of the Arnie mudding up kind of moment.
Yeah. And absolutely. Really, really good.
There is some obviously true logic on like why is he wearing a helmet, because it's probably not going to be the best at night time. But I friggin' wanted a helmet in the movie, right? Like,
but he has just seen his friends be decapitated and their heads taken, so I think it works.
Yeah,
I think that works. You've got to. I think like there's definitely in-universe reasons why you'd wear a helmet if you've seen your friends have their heads removed. You'd be like, I want that helmet. It might not help, but I want that helmet. Like, save my head, Jesus.
Same footage from earlier.
I like that. It's good.
That was the only shot of the head, because he had a great Predator face mask as well. But obviously the mouth didn't move or anything.
Yeah.
So like, I was like, that would look, if his just mouth is always closed, it's gonna look a bit weird.
Yeah,
so we'll get a one shot of his face at least, and that will be enough.
Yeah. No, I agree. Again, it's that working to your strengths and hiding your weaknesses as much as possible. I think that works really well. So he was actually hitting that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can see the marks on the shield where he's hitting it.
Yeah.
You can actually see it. Yeah. So is that Foley, or was that actually him and then
No, it's Foley again though, to just emphasize it.
Yeah, that's just bloody good. Really, really good. Did you have any issues with the helmet interfering with the voice, or
not
not?
Really? I mean, that's not ADR. That's him shouting.
No,
it's great.
Worth asking though, isn't it? Like just to
it literally didn't have many problems with it at all. Well, he only had that line, but yeah.
Yeah. What time of year did you shoot this, by the way?
This was in October.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
Really? Wow. Just a heads up, guys. October's not particularly pleasant in the UK, weather-wise. Like, it's not late October. You're looking at pretty damn cold, quite frankly.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. Yes, Predator hunts in hot weather, but we'd have to wait all the way till next summer to have shot it.
Well, they would probably be really uncomfortable in all those in summer anyway. Well, like you're sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't in the UK.
Yeah,
but I thought I'd ask just because that does matter. So I guess as well, just again, for anyone that doesn't know, like it's actually dark relatively early in the UK that time of year. What sort of time of day was this that you were shooting?
Well, it probably been about from the nighttime stuff from about 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m. we would have started. And it was 2 very, very harsh night shoots.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because I mean,
about 4 in the morning, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Good. Good to know. Did you purposely put the sword there?
No, that was literally he fell and it stuck like that. How amazing is that?
Okay.
It was one of those, it happened and we was like, that is so cool. I mean,
that's
literally.
Great mistake. Love it. Let's keep going.
Yeah,
were you not concerned with weaponry for safety and anything like that? What sort of precautions did you take? Just general. Don't act like idiots. Don't be idiots.
Yeah, well, and also those swords are very blunt.
Oh, okay.
Well.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of shots we deliberately CGI'd to make them sharper. I think like the shot kind of with the Predator, we put the tip onto the blades, but they were actually very
rounded. Then they
were rounded most of the other times. Yeah, it's like so it's just. And again, for this we filmed it. It's not my favorite way of shooting. It's the like the kind of the shaky cam kind of. I'm not the biggest fan of, but it worked for this because obviously working around the costume. I mean, you can't see very well in the dark. You have to just sort of like cover up a few things.
Well, again, it's working to your strengths and hiding your weaknesses, and a shaky cam can do that. Like, it's not ideal, but it's
if you've got 2 weeks to choreograph and stuff.
But it's more ideal than showing everything that looks like crap. Like, of course, it is ideal in that regard for sure. That makes a lot of sense. So this costume he can't really see out of. How was this done then? Because that's some that's some good choreography for someone that can barely see.
Yeah, I mean they literally they went through it lots of times without the costume on, for it, and then a bit of clever editing as well.
So literally just doing a really good dance, basically.
Yeah, that's right. And the whole point about this fight was it's sort of like the Predator could kill him several times. It's more just sort of he's playing around a bit,
He's having fun. Yeah. That makes sense.
The line.
What in hell are you?
Let him go. Your life for his.
Now, some people get a bit confused, thinking like they say, "Oh, the Predator would be shamed and defeat, or and should kill himself because of honor and all this and that." It's like, but he's literally turning around to fight him. He's not scared of him. Or anything. Like literally turns around to kick off with him.
Yeah.
And then it's the whole putting the weapons away that makes him go, oh, I like this guy.
Okay. Yeah. No. Again, good explanation. Absolutely good explanation. Yeah. He's ready to go, isn't he? Right there.
Yeah. Look, and he's eyes down,
cowering. Yeah, you make a good point of actually showing it as well. Like he puts it away, like it's quite slow drawn out, and then I'm done.
Yeah,
like
please don't kill me.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. It does. Now again, it's having the opportunity to talk to the individuals behind films that explain these things and give a deeper concept behind it. So yeah. Yeah, moment of understanding. Like, yeah, okay, cool.
I'll be back soon.
What was this? Miniature? CG?
CG, yeah.
Okay, nice. It almost looks a bit like a miniature, which is actually quite a compliment to the CG,
yeah.
to be fair.
Yeah, it's just subtle enough, bit of dark clouds.
Yeah, that's really good.
Is it gone?
For now.
What was it?
I do not know. Not a demon. Something else.
Thank you for coming back.
The buddy movie.
Very reluctant. Thank you.
Where would be my honor if I did not? Although I already half expected you to be dead.
Not yet, Saracen. Not yet.
Quickly, just to say, these end credits, this is when I get a bit nerdy. These end credits are timed exactly to the original Predator film.
Okay.
Like, the character artwork is a bit like, when Carl grabs the gun and smiles, and it's all timed exactly to that, like even the fade down.
I like that. It's good. Paul Whitaker drops in as well and says, given the end credits and great fan reception, were you ever tempted to follow up Dark Ages with a comic run or graphic novel?
No, not really. I would have liked to have done maybe like another era. I've actually been chatting to a friend, and he's actually working away on. He's writing a short. I mean, he's writing it as a short film, but he might change that into like a sort of like a comic or something. And he's actually having a go of doing a sequel to Dark Ages. So I'll be interested to read it. Well, his approach, he's combining Dark Ages with Predators.
Interesting.
So
interesting.
Yeah, it's an exciting premise,
Yeah, interesting. Interesting stuff. I think it's interesting that you've never felt tempted to sort of continue it, but I guess like to you set out to achieve what you wanted to achieve, right?
Yeah.
And I guess that the fan reception is just confirmation of that. You're like, yeah, no, I've definitely achieved what I wanted to achieve at that point. So is there a point to continuing it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, hey, if Fox was to give 100 million to make a feature film of it, great.
Yeah, of course. That'd be great, wouldn't it? You'd be like, yep, thanks very much. Cheers.
And then everyone watching be like, that was shit.
Well, no, I'm sure it'll be better than The Predator. So don't worry.
Yes. Must be.
Yeah. Gotta keep watching. See, I'm surprised that this music didn't get copyright claimed on the upload.
I think maybe because it's not the actual soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's actually been he's done it from scratch. So
it's been
maybe
modified enough, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah, possibly. You know?
Some people have been copyright claimed just for like literally singing a song.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that's mental. That is absolutely mental. John Stones dropped in as well again and says this movie is better Middle Eastern diplomacy than the Biden administration. Oh my God. Sorry, I couldn't help it. I thank the both of you for the film talk.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, that is obviously the end of the film specifically. Do you want to give your review of your film? What's your review of your own film? I always think this is an interesting question to ask people that have made films.
I'm really proud of it. Like it has a few issues here and there, and a bit more money would have been great and stuff. But I'm really proud of it. Like literally, it was the most technical film I'd done, and like it was the biggest film I'd done. So I was really happy with how it come out. Like I got to play with all these toys. There is horses and tents and sword fights. Yeah, and it come out really well, I thought.
Yeah.
For what it was. So yeah, I'm very proud of it.
And what would you, if you could, with the same budget, same team, same everything, what is it that you would change about it? Not given more money, because that's a given, right? When someone says, "Well, what if I gave you 100? What would you do with that?" Like, no. If you could go back and redo it now, what would you change? Would you change shots? Would you change?
It'd be scary to think about going back and do it again. I'd maybe tweak a bit of the dialogue here and there.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, we better have a bit more time to do a bit more of the fighting. But as you say, if it's the same budget and stuff, I wouldn't have had any extra time.
Isn't that an interesting question? You don't get anything new, but if you go back and change something specifically, I always think
honestly, if you was to look at my storyboards, it's so close to them. Yeah, so that was what was in my head. I'd still try and shoot those kind of shots,
Yeah. But I guess you as a filmmaker now, you've obviously developed and changed and evolved, as you would making, films. Is there anything that you could go back and that you would wish to change now further on?
I think the problem is now the stuff I'm doing now still doesn't have much money. So I look at Predator Arc Ages, I'm like, I'd like to have some of that equipment on what I'm doing now, and I don't even have it now.
True. Yeah.
True. Drones and like the crane shots and stuff.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, and a bit of a tighter edit possibly here and there. It would have been nice to have shot a bit more of it and gave like the sort of the 45-minute version of it.
Yeah,
or something, with a bit more action and stuff. But yeah.
Well, even just the intro of them getting the guy, that could have been an extra 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Just that. Yeah. That would have bulked it out. But, again, budget allowing becomes a bit difficult for that, doesn't it? Yeah. I mean, I think it's great. I think it's a bloody good fan film. I think I think it's one of the better fan films, if not one of the best that is out there, quite frankly.
Yeah, there is some good ones out there, isn't there? Which is that's it. It's got to be. I think if you're going to do a fan film, regard Aliens or Predator or anything, I think you have to. It's got to be good. Like you've got to be aiming really high. Otherwise, there's not really a point to doing it. Like.
Yeah, I agree.
I think like if you like, that's my problem with like doing an alien short film. Like, I know people that have got like alien costumes and marine costumes and stuff, and it's always a little thing like, oh, you know what? Love aliens. That could be a cool. Yeah. But then I'm like, but you know what? You need a spaceship, or you need something. You couldn't be in a forest because you'd be like, oh, they've got no money.
True, but could you not? Would you, if you're not tempted to do that, could you not hire out or find like a disused warehouse that you could turn into?
Well,
like
yeah,
the sort of
build
back
a
end
set.
of a. Well, yeah, but milk crates, mate. Flip the milk crates upside down, tie them together. Like that's your ramparts that you're walking down. That is
another one I would love to make, but it's the same problem. Is I'd love to do a Dead Space fan film.
Yeah. Have you seen that they're doing the Dead Space remake now?
I can't wait.
That's gonna be good. That could be really good.
It's such a good game.
But you know, it's an incredible game.
But again, the costume would have to be amazing, and the monsters had to be amazing. Otherwise, not really worth trying. You can't deliver.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. So, what is next for you as a filmmaker then in your sort of filmmaking career? What is next for you now? Like, promote yourself. What is it that you're doing now? I'm currently
shooting another feature film called Law. I'm co-directing that. It's a horror anthology. So it's got lots of short little horror stories about a group of friends around a campfire telling these tales. And so I've directed one of them. I've co-directed one of them. Co-directed like the bookends. And I've got a couple of other feature films trying to get finance for. One's called like The Fault, and it's a medieval horror film. You know, and another one's called The Devil's Lair, which is sort of like SWAT versus Cult. And it's got a lot of throwback to like Zero Dark 30 and Aliens in there. So, you know, like definitely.
Nice.
So I'm trying to get those films off the ground. So hopefully.
And how is it that you're approaching getting them off the ground? What is it? Are you approaching financiers? Are you looking at funding?
Private investors at the moment, and a couple of companies. With the full film, we're chatting with like one of the companies like Sky, so they're interested in it, which would be amazing if it happened, because they probably give a decent budget, maybe. But you know, when you've been there before and then it never happens, so you don't.
So it's like that sort of too good to true moment. You just want to be like, I'll just wait. We'll just wait. That makes sense.
So I mean, it's good that we've shot this this Law feature film. We literally just got one little bit to shoot a weekend, or 2 days, I should say, in a couple of weeks. Yeah. So that film will come out next year. So hopefully that'll be quite decent.
And you know, so what are you? Where are you releasing these? Are you releasing on your own sort of platform, or where are you releasing?
Well, the Cannibals film got released like in America and the UK and Germany and stuff on like DVD and streaming and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice. So I mean, Cannibals and Copy Fitters, another horror comedy. That's now, I think, in the UK. You can watch it free on Amazon Prime now if you've got the Prime.
Right.
But you know, it got a release. I've got like the Blu-rays of it and the DVDs, of course, in the collection. Yeah. And the same for this Law film. It should get a general release, I think, around the world.
Hopefully. Yeah. Okay. No, that's good.
Fingers crossed.
A Hoppy Ending's just dropped in and says, "Do you think Hollywood has the ability to turn the Predator franchise around? I would rather watch Dark Ages over Predators or The Predator."
Yeah, we are, like we said earlier on, we're hoping this next one will be decent.
Hoping, yeah.
I mean, hopefully they've learned from The Predator, because that was, for me, that was an atrocious film. I was so upset watching it in cinema.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, like The Predator is an interesting one. Like, I view The Predator like I do McDonald's, right? Like, McDonald's is shit food. Right, it's awful food, but it's tasty, right? So I view The Predator a bit like McDonald's. I was entertained by it. It's not a good film, and it's not a good Predator film. I was entertained, so I enjoyed it on that aspect. But then the moment you go, "Oh no, shit, this is a Predator film," it just all falls apart. It's like looking at McDonald's and going, "Well, that's tasty." Oh yeah, but it's clearly, I mean, it's barely food at this point. Like, what am I actually eating? Like, it's a similar kind of thing, but it's just garbage. But yeah,
I think that the Predator film, it needed to have been the first 25 minutes as a whole movie. Like, it needed to have been in that military base.
Yeah,
you know, like literally they went in the military base and it escaped, and that was that. It's like that could have been a great movie in itself if you just contained it, but it just.
Or just have the two predators facing off against one another, and people as collateral, because then you do actually have a predator win and a predator die, and you're like, oh, great, no worries. Like, you know, the humans can just be, you know, part of it, you know, from that element. But I don't have a lot of confidence in, to answer the question directly, I don't have a lot of confidence in Hollywood having the ability to turn the Predator franchise around? No. Especially not. The only thing going for this new one, because a lot of people are like, well, it's under Disney. It is under Disney, and it is also made for Hulu, which is even worse. Or it's going to be released on Hulu, which is like, at that point, fucking what is going on with the Predator franchise that it's direct to streaming? That's bad.
That's scary, right? I don't know why that's happening.
Yeah, well, exactly. But the only thing going for it is that, you know, yes, it's a Disney film, but it was put into pre-production under Fox. They were the ones that actually financed it. They were the ones which gave it the green light. They were the ones that pushed it into pre-production. So, you know, Disney being what they are, pretty bad company and pretty, you know, down the line on what they want to push and stuff. A lot of this stuff was just from Fox, which probably doesn't give it any more weight for it being good.
Yeah.
But it's better than it just being Disney, I guess. That's the only silver lining I can think
of. But you feel they just need to, like, this is why I'm hoping this one might be okay. It's like, then again, that's why I thought with Shane Black. It's like, you'd think if they're giving it to somebody that says, look, I can make you a great Predator film, that sounds great. If they're like, oh, go for it, then we'll trust you because you're...
Yeah.
But then, who knows?
Yeah. Paul Whitaker says, are there any upcoming indie filmmakers, either shorts or feature length, that you're excited to see new projects from? There you go. That's an interesting question, isn't it? I mean, I myself, I don't really know any short or full length indie filmmakers personally. I've watched the film that I'm in, and I've got to do a review of that soon. That'll be an interesting movie.
Reviewing yourself.
Well, it's an interesting movie. I'm barely in it, but it's an interesting movie to review just because I was there, and obviously having watched it and I was in it and then watching the final product, I'm like, that's interesting. But yeah, I mean, I personally, I can't really answer that question, but is there anyone that you know, James?
There's a few people. I mean, obviously they've done short films, but like Patrick Ryder's a great director, done some short films, and he's one that's co-directing this film with me. You know, so he's got some great work. There's another film that's shooting now, which looks amazing, called The Witch with Mark Zammit. Looks like great production value for a feature film. It's an indie film, but they've definitely got some great set stuff. They're out in Hungary filming that.
Wow.
But it's kind of like, you know, I just look around what's on like Facebook and stuff, you know, like Instagram and Twitter, and see what kind of films are coming out and stuff. Although, I've been so busy of late, I haven't actually got around to watching many films of, you know.
I think a lot of people have been like that though. Like, you know, especially in the UK, there's not been a lot, like everything ground to a halt and then everything picked back up and was, you know, really, really busy. And then life sort of, you know, I think, you know, people's sort of equilibrium on life has been thrown way out. So where can people find you, James? Where can people sort of follow you and follow? I'm on. This is the thing. I don't actually ever know my links. I'm on, obviously, Instagram. I'm guessing as James Bushe. Okay,
it should be that simple, right? With an E at the end of Bush.
Okay. Hopefully.
Facebook director James Bushe is that profile, and Twitter. I think I'm actually on Twitter. I'm as at Tallynator101, which is my Terminator sort of throwback name.
I like it. That's good. That's good. Chris has just dropped in and says, very good, make more. I don't know what that's referencing, mate, whether it's this, whether it's... I appreciate it all the same, but thanks very much. Yeah, okay, cool. So, well, what I'll do then, James, is I'll get you, if you can, anyway, if you don't mind, just email me the actual confirmed links, and then I'll drop them down.
Yeah, okay.
In the description box as well, so people can give you a follow and see your sort of future work and things like that. But I just want to say, obviously, a massive, thank you to yourself for dropping on here.
Oh, thank you for having me on, man. I enjoyed it.
I really do. Yeah, good. Well, I'm glad you did. This is the first
time
I
do waffle, so I do apologise on that.
No. So, look, I've interviewed a lot of directors, and the thing which I find the best about directors, in terms of interviewing them anyway, is always just to give people the time to breathe and say everything that's on their mind, because you truly learn more about them and about the process of filmmaking over just quick fire, answer this question. It's boring. Like, I hate those kind of interviews. I did a trailer video today to the next Paranormal Activity movie, which is directed by William Eubank, who did Underwater. Great film if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's a good film.
And I interviewed that guy, and he was like, "How long?" I was like, "How long can you give me?" Like, I'm literally like, "Give me as much time as possible," because you know, going back to what you're saying about waffling, you learn more, and people watching get the most out of it as well. People. This is my platform. They're not here to hear me. Obviously, I'm talking a lot now. They're not here to hear me. They're here to hear you. So the amount of time that you can give and the amount of time expanding upon these things is the best. So no, it was an absolute pleasure having you on, dude. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, man.
Guys watching, if you like this, please do hit that thumbs up button. Please do share it as well. This will just be on the channel now for everyone to see as well. But please do hit that like button, and please do watch it after the fact as well when it goes just live on the channel. And please do sort of promote it around. Really would appreciate that. But again, guys in the chat, please do thank James for popping on here. Please do follow him.
Thank you, and thank you guys for who all tuned in and was asking questions and that.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Oh, here's my cat. Say hello.
So funnily enough, at the start, your cat actually walked along behind you.
Trinity is her name.
Oh, that was fantastic. That was brilliant. People were like, cat.
She timed it well. She's kept away the whole interview. And now she's
bless her. Anyway, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, James.
Thank you, Mr. H. It's amazing.
Appreciate it, dude. Thank you very, very much. Right. Excellent stuff.